Every episode of Kitchen Nightmares follows roughly the same script. We join a struggling restaurant with unsanitary conditions and big personalities. A shockingly handsome Scottish man comes in, tries the food, and yells at them. News spreads of this man's arrival, and suddenly the restaurant, that's usually emptier than a Blockbuster in 2025, is brimming with people. And to the surprise of absolutely nobody, this turns out to be a bigger disaster than the New York Jets. This leads to the Scottish man changing the menu, slapping on a fresh coat of paint, and the restaurant staff pledging to do better. Sounds like a happy ending, right? Wrong. In reality, most restaurants close shortly after their time on Kitchen Nightmares. 75% of restaurants from seasons 1 to 8 have permanently closed. 5 of them didn't even make it to the episode premiere before they were already shutting their doors for good. To find out whether Kitchen Nightmares actually helps anyone, I looked into 2 restaurants. One that completely fell apart, and one of the rare success stories that actually made it. Does Gordon Ramsay really help save these floundering businesses? Or do the massive egos, financial pitfalls, and general lack of experience doom these restaurants too far beyond repair? If you're watching this while on the toilet, get comfy because we are deep diving into the world of Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. If you enjoy content like this, be sure to subscribe. Subscribing instantly activates the dopamine receptors in my brain. Some doctors say that all subscribers will look 30 years younger instantly, so subscribe if you're into that.
Why do I have the Goo Goo Gaga Patrol leading off? Hello?
We also have a Discord where we are currently playing through a custom Nuzlocke that the community created specifically for me. Feel free to join in on the chaos. I'm slowly branching out from my typical animated cartoon videos, but rest assured, they will return if this isn't your cup of tea. Get it? Tea because the guy's Scottish? You get it, right?
Oh, brother!
As always, a huge shout out to our patrons and channel members. If you want to see your name here on every video and support me further, those links are below. Let's get back to the video. If you live in Alabama, where the internet hasn't been invented yet, then you probably haven't heard about Kitchen Nightmares. If that's the case, I don't know how or why you decided to click on this video. Kitchen Nightmares is a reality TV show where award-winning chef Gordon Ramsay spends a week with failing restaurants, all in an effort to save their businesses. Gordon Ramsay is a very prestigious reality TV chef, having numerous TV shows and restaurants across the globe. It's ironic that the people who claim the best thing since sliced bread is, well, heated up sliced bread with beans on it, gave us one of the best chefs in the world. Each Kitchen Nightmares episode follows largely the same plot lines. We're introduced to the restaurant and the staff, Gordon tries the food and observes a lunch or dinner service, Gordon discovers some disgusting filth in the kitchen, they come back, discuss changes, sometimes the restaurant even receives a complete makeover, and then we're shown a successful dinner service, Gordon puts a bow on the whole thing, and up and leaves. This has been going on from 2007 to 2014, before the show ended, only to be revived in 2023 for Season 8 and 2025 for Season 9. Because remember, in 2025 there's no more original ideas for TVs and movie. None that I'm gonna watch anyway, can't wait for Shrek 5, just a couple more years. Despite being coached for a week by a world-class chef, most of the restaurants on Kitchen Nightmares have ceased to exist. According to KitchenNightmaresUpdates.com, a staggering 64 of the 93 restaurants featured on the show have closed. 2 have moved and 2 have been sold to new owners, leaving only 29% of these businesses still operational as seen on TV. Now, batting .290 in baseball will put you among some of the game's best. But does this prove that Kitchen Nightmares doesn't actually help these businesses? The fact of the matter is that owning and operating a successful restaurant is one of, if not the most difficult business venture. Some sources claim that roughly 60% of restaurants fail within 1 year of opening, and that number jumps up to 80% after 5 years. This doesn't just affect the common Joe either. The beans on toast godfather himself has had over 10 of his own restaurants close in some capacity. Restaurants are cutthroat with razor-thin profit margins, the market is super saturated, and with sky-high operating costs, many restaurants struggle to break even. Knowing all of this, you have to be nearly perfect with your plan and execution to stay out of the red. Opening a restaurant is the embodiment of a salmon swimming upstream, or Bronny James trying to stay in the league once his dad retires. With one final hope, we turn to the 6'2", of course he's 6'2", the 6'2" British wonder to try and save these failing restaurants. Now that we're all caught up, let's dive headfirst into the deep fryer of Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, to see if Kitchen Nightmares really helps these establishments, or if they're just delaying the inevitable. We're leading off with a much older episode from Season 2 following a restaurant in New York called Fiesta Sunrise. Man, the intro to these episodes is super great. They get the hook set in real early. Meet Vic, the manager of the restaurant. Vic was the former owner of a restaurant that was nearly identical to Fiesta Sunrise. Since Vic's first establishment failed, he changed almost nothing and decided to run it back using his stepdaughter to finance the whole operation. The red flags in this one are massively apparent and we're not even 5 minutes into the episode. You know what? I like the attitude. This time we're gonna fail hard enough that we get the attention of a celebrity chef. I'm sorry, is this woman eating tar? Alright, you don't need Gordon Ramsay for this one. You cannot be serving up blended trash bags to the customers and calling it soup. This restaurant also has some issues about control. Vic, the father, controls everything and all the decision making, while his stepdaughter is the majority owner. At least they have complimentary margaritas. I mean, that's a great idea on paper. It'll get all the wild moms in the door for their free ounce of margarita. Gordon discovers that the owner is using the same menus from his failed restaurant in his current restaurant. It's shortly revealed that almost nothing has changed from the failed restaurant to this one. I now see why they had to use their daughter's future to finance this. No bank in their right mind would give them a business loan after they've already proved that it would fail. Gordon didn't like any of the food, which is pretty normal for this show. He did like the pina colada, so bonus points there. This restaurant has been open for 18 months and they're already in $850,000 of debt. The level of common sense to fail their first restaurant, change nothing, and jump into another endeavor is baffling. The waitstaff just waiting for anyone to walk through these doors while Gordon is standing in the parking lot monologuing had me cracking up pretty hard here. It's really common for every owner to lie directly to Gordon about when the kitchen was last cleaned. I'm pretty sure they only had 1 or 2 tables at the dinner service, and one table they had was complaining about the chips. Can't you just buy a bag of tortilla chips from the store and call it good? Gordon is finding that the restaurant is dirtier than a music festival porta potty, and I hate how he just raw dogs the chicken with his hands. Put some gloves on, Gordon. Gordon hit an all-time line with this episode. A hungry cat would walk away from this chicken, and I just love that one so much. The owner claims now that he feels stupid, and that's about 18 months too late, Vic. But Gordon is providing some self-reflection for the mostly delusional manager. Gordon causes a scene and shuts down the restaurant, still pretty par for the course. Vic is actively sabotaging his stepdaughter and her husband's lives. Don flipping the table like he just lost Monopoly at game night is pretty funny. Rightfully so, as his father-in-law is the last person who should be talking down to him. You put us in almost $1 million of debt and have nothing to show for it. As if it wasn't bad enough, they're closing the restaurant to call in an exterminator due to an insane cockroach infestation. Yeah, this is the part of the rank game where you just get your team to surrender. I would say GG go next at this point, but they already did that. Gordon comes back and the music is feeling hopeful. Am I supposed to be optimistic that we're on the rise again? They were more optimistic when Chris Paul hit the 3 to cut the lead down to 42. The restaurant has fresh food now, but they're still struggling to get the food out under the tables. And man, the restaurant still looks empty. 4 of the 7 customers that they have just up and leave. The staff is bad, the manager is delusional, the food is bad, the kitchen's a mess, and they're almost in $1 million of debt. There is absolutely no hope, and Gordon is starting to feel the pressure. Gordon brings in an industry kitchen expert, and man, that poor soul. He also gave the restaurant a complete redesign, slapping a fresh coat of paint on this broken down old car. And in typical Kitchen Nightmares fashion, Gordon redesigns the menu, but with all the changes, the kitchen staff is still failing. I mean, they lit nachos on fire. How do you even light a nacho on fire? The dinner service was actually going well at the end, all things considered. The mayor of the town shows up for the dinner service, and he walks away happy, so that's a small win, I guess. All it took for one successful service was a world-renowned chef with some hired industry experts to help them. Despite all of this glowing optimism, Fiesta Sunrise closed before the Kitchen Nightmares episode even made it to air. The citing for this closure was that they failed to pay their taxes and the IRS closed the restaurant. Keep in mind, during this time, the US was under a financial crisis, and that certainly didn't help their situation. There was also an unrelated stabbing at or near the restaurant around the time they closed. That doesn't really change much. I just like to muddy the waters to thicken the plot a little bit. So did Kitchen Nightmares actually help this restaurant, or was this all just a massive waste of time? In reality, this ship had sunk long before Gordon Ramsay had even heard about it. Kitchen Nightmares showed up during the last 5 minutes of the Titanic sinking, scooped out 1 bucket of water, and called it good. There was absolutely no chance that this business could have survived. They were already nearly $1 million in debt and had almost nothing positive about their business. In most of these episodes, I see Kitchen Nightmares as a Twitch raid. You bring a bunch of people in for a good couple of days, but after that you regress right back to the mean. Gordon and his team found a very tense family situation, partnered with a failing restaurant. and that makes for good TV, but the odds of any help actually coming from this were almost zero. In a lighter note, after a Reddit deep dive, it turns out Patty, the stepdaughter, is involved with the successful restaurant Fiesta Mexico in Orangeburg, New York. Her biological father, Alfredo, is the owner there. Great name for a restaurant owner, by the way. This was as recent as October of 2024. We could theorize some of the values from the experience on Kitchen Nightmares that stuck had helped her, but there's no concrete proof of this. I'm happy to see she's doing well though. She seemed to be the most genuine person on this roller coaster of an episode. Vic, on the other hand, is a massive rabbit hole himself. He was charged with third-degree grand larceny in 2011 for stealing money from 3 investors to reopen a restaurant. Makes you wonder if Vic even cared about Patty or her mom at all. Vic really does just say GG go next on every restaurant he's involved in, huh? Now we've seen an example where Kitchen Nightmares swoops in at the last moments to get an episode in before the business goes under. But what about one of those rare instances where one of these restaurants survives? Enter Lido Di Manhattan from Season 3. Our main character for Lido's is Lisa, who's a 28-year-old business school graduate. We're off to a good start already. Oftentimes the owners will be like a former dog walker who's seen the inside of a Pizza Hut kitchen before, so they think they can open up a Chinese food business. Some of these really make no sense, you just gotta trust me. Lisa has owned the business for 5 years. She bought it after graduating from USC, and I give her a lot of credit. While she's inexperienced at running a restaurant, she is determined. Lisa has inherited a lot from the previous owners of the restaurant. The menu, the staff, and the decor is largely all the same. Gordon quickly picks up that the bar manager is dating Lisa. This doesn't really play into the episode, maybe just shows Lisa's immaturity a little bit. I love how everyone's watching Gordon eat like they're little prairie dogs poking their heads up. I wonder if they watch him use the toilet too. Oh, he looked angry when he was wiping. That's not good, chat. Gordon describes the tuna he eats as furry, and that might be the worst insult I have ever heard. Everyone tells Gordon that their food is fresh when they all know damn well that it's frozen. They really think he won't be able to tell? Right on schedule, Gordon hates the food, but I feel some actual hope in this episode, unlike the last. The restaurant uses Fallout terminals for their ordering system. It looks archaic. It looks like those computers are still running the Windows 1.0 beta. Those computers require you to program your orders in with assembly instructions. Alright, I'm a software engineer, so I'm kind of nerdy about this stuff, I'm sorry.
Oh, brother!
Dinner service is going poorly, and is showing how out of touch Lisa is with her kitchen and staff. Gordon finds one line of dust and decides to go nuclear. He shows the customers one speck of dust on a plate, and while the dust is kind of an issue, the blow up feels kind of fabricated. Kitchen cleanliness is very important, don't get me wrong, but I saw 8 generations of cockroaches in the last episode, so this doesn't feel like anything in comparison. Gotta give the kitchen staff credit though, they buckled down and cleaned the kitchen during dinner service, all while Lisa cries in the bathroom. I kinda see Lisa like a rookie QB in the NFL. There's gonna be some growing pains, but the potential is there. As long as you didn't get drafted by the Browns, you'll be okay. Gordon asked Lisa to make 5 changes to improve the restaurant, and Lisa's changes seem good on paper, but the execution is where it really matters. Gordon is looking like primetime Mike Hopkins out here smashing the computer with a bat. Oh, you don't know legendary Michael Joseph Hopkins, who played in the 1902 Pittsburgh Pirates? Well, he is one of 10 Scottish natives to ever play in the MLB. He played in one singular game, ending his career going 2 for 2 with a double. Highest batting average in MLB history, you best remember his name. Gordon is introducing the new menu to the staff, and Lisa's taking initiative, learning the ins and outs of the kitchen. Lisa's working in the kitchen, it's kind of a disaster. The staff is dealing with cooking a new menu, and Lisa's seeing some of the issues that lie within the staff. Gordon's specials are a hit tonight, but another problem is uncovered. The kitchen staff just sucks. Following our typical episode script, Lido's gets a full makeover, and it looks great. While everything has been overhauled, the kitchen staff still can't keep up. 30 minutes into the dinner service, and not one morsel of food has made it out of the kitchen. People are leaving en masse, and this couldn't be going worse. Except somehow it does get worse, as the entire kitchen staff walks out of the restaurant, leaving Lisa out to dry. Gordon's in the streets yelling for Louis to come back like he's a cat that ran away. Tensions have never been higher, and Gordon calls in his ace in the hole, Scott. Scott is going to take over the dinner service and consult Lisa for the next month. Stray Cat Louis and the boys end up returning. Scott comes in suited up like Captain America at the start of Avengers Infinity War, and Scott's barking out orders and he is cooking, like literally cooking. If I've already made that joke in the video, just know that the writer's strike is hitting everyone particularly hard. Scott saves the dinner service and things are looking up for Lisa. Gordon leaves Lido's on a high note. The kitchen staff was accepting of Scott's training and improved in the weeks to follow. And Lisa has matured into her role as the owner. Nearly 15 years later, Lido Di Manhattan is still operational and receiving good reviews. Lisa is still the owner of the business and is doing well. Many claim that Lido's is one of the biggest success stories from Kitchen Nightmares. This is a case where Kitchen Nightmares actually provided a positive outcome for the restaurant. They didn't work a miracle, but they stepped into a slightly bad situation and turned it around. Lisa was severely lacking some ownership experience, and Gordon was the perfect mentor for her. There wasn't any family drama or tension, and the owner had a good background, coming straight from business school. More importantly, Lisa was eager to learn and change. She desired to be more involved. Lido's was in an alright spot, and Kitchen Nightmares elevated them. A testament to Lisa for operating a restaurant for over 20 years now. That's extremely difficult for any non-chain restaurant. Big points to Kitchen Nightmares here. About 8 years ago, Lisa opened a second restaurant called Playa Hermosa Fish and Oyster. As if she wasn't already busy enough, she's also a real estate agent. Gordon revisited Lisa to check in, and the restaurant's doing great. Lisa revealed Damien, the bar manager, left about a week after Gordon left, and Gordon did a dust check again, and the years have really changed Gordon. He's putting on a glove to do the dust check. The Gordon I know would raw-daw rotten chicken, and now he's putting gloves on for dust. A happy ending on Kitchen Nightmares can really warm your heart. After two very different case studies, this brings us to the question, does Kitchen Nightmares actually help restaurants? And the answer is, kinda. Some of these restaurants have absolutely no business being open. Most of these owners have no restaurant experience, and they think it's a good financial decision to open one of the riskiest business types. I would like to believe Gordon Ramsay goes into each episode with the best intentions, but the reality of it is that most of these businesses are dead on arrival. Gordon is the one who has to break the news to the 2025 Colorado Rockies that they are in fact not making the playoffs. For every 7 restaurants that can't be saved, there are 3 that have a chance. 3 that Gordon can leave a lasting impact on and actually improve. The success of these businesses on Kitchen Nightmares seems to rely on the situation Gordon is coming into and the owner's willingness to take his advice and change. Gordon can't save a stubborn owner with crippling debt by changing the menu and throwing some paint on the walls. But Gordon can save someone who is willing to learn and isn't too far gone financially. What people should take away from Kitchen Nightmares is that opening a restaurant is incredibly difficult. If you don't have a strong background and a firm plan in place, the chances of success are bleak at best. Does Kitchen Nightmares help? Sometimes. Is Kitchen Nightmares great TV regardless? Absolutely. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe. Hit the like button and send hype to tell YouTube to treat me right. Join our Discord, we have a great community. If you need a space to yap with some cool folks, whether it's about football, Pokemon, or yogurt, we yap in there. If you have any content ideas, I'd love to hear them in the comments or the Discord. Thanks for watching.